Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to week 7 of our class. Hopefully you had a great Memorial Day weekend, and now we are moving forward with our project 2. Over the weekend, hopefully you were working on taking a look at the thesis statement and the outline for project 2. We are going to be completing that thesis worksheet on Wednesday, so tomorrow. But in order to fully complete that worksheet, we have to be very familiar with the case we've decided to work with for Project 2. And so I want to encourage you to watch the library video that the amazing Molly Mooney has put together for us. It's a Prezi where she walks through different ways to search the library databases, different search terms that you can use. All of that good stuff is available for you in that Prezi link. So please check that out. Then start working on your Project 2 essay. We're working with this idea of trial by media and our Sixth Amendment rights, figuring out whether the way a case is covered can prevent a defendant from getting a fair shake at a trial. So take a look at the library time, take a look at logical fallacies, because that's going to be a really important thing to incorporate into your essay. A lot of our organizational strategies for the outline in particular involve working with some logical fallacies. So make sure that you're familiarizing yourself with those. I include 1 or 2 in your essay, and it'll be a nice way to round out your arguments there. So lots of great things available for us here. As always, if we go into our modules for this English 101 course, you'll see we've got a lot of great resources for you here for Project 2. Just gotta scroll down till we get there. Always so many great things to help you with that it means a lot of scrolling. So if you take a look at the logical fallacies PowerPoint, this is great because it has a lot of very specific examples of logical fallacies to show you how each of these works and how they might be seen in news coverage of particular cases. And then I do encourage you to use the trial by media Can this phenomenon undermine the courtroom? This is a really excellent article, and you do need outside sources for this essay. This would be a really good one to include, just like the Leon Seltzer article was a great one to include for our Project 1. This article is a really good resource for Project 2, so I highly, highly encourage you to use it as a part of your research and as a part of constructing your argument. You can also take a look at the Innocence Project. This is a website that shows cases that have been retried because of new evidence that maybe people were wrongly incarcerated. And so the Innocence Project tries to find those people and help them with their cases so that they can get out of prison. So the Innocence Project, very interesting stuff. And then if you want to get kind of a good give and take on this article, you could have this particular piece, pretrial publicity, limited effect on the right to a fair trial. So if the case you're looking at doesn't seem to be overly affected by the media coverage, great. If you need an article to help you prove that that's the case, this would be a good one to go to, because not all the cases on the list have a clear violation of the Sixth Amendment. Just like with Project 1, there's not a right answer to this essay. There is a well-supported answer in this essay. So if you don't think that the Sixth Amendment was violated, fabulous, prove it, right? So give good evidence from the trial, give good evidence from newspaper coverage at the time, and then consider using this article that says this kind of pretrial publicity has a limited effect, and so it doesn't violate the Sixth Amendment. Really good, important stuff there. If you want to argue that the media has their First Amendment rights of free speech, and that by using those rights, they're not violating the Sixth Amendment, which is another great argument to make in many of these cases. You've got some great articles for you here. So lots of resources that could help back up the argument that you want to make. If you're arguing that the media coverage did violate the Sixth Amendment, this article, the first one that we had a discussion board on, is a great resource for you. So I've got resources on both sides of the argument. And the librarians have resources for you on both sides as well. So just make sure you're finding good research, finding good articles to back up your perspectives. And then as always, we've got all of our resources here. If you haven't already watched the outline and thesis statement video, highly, highly recommend you do so before you turn in your thesis worksheet tomorrow. And then take a look at the rubric, how this thing's going to be scored. We want to make sure we're hitting all the points there. And then finally, I've got a link for you here that says signal phrases for quotes, paraphrases, and summaries. One of the things I'm noticing in your Project 1 work is that you are including quotes, which is good, but we need to make sure that those quotes are embedded in a quote sandwich, I like to call it, where you introduce the quote, you give the quote, make sure it's cited, and then you explain how the quote connects to the argument that you're making. So it needs to be sandwiched in your own words. Snazzy, right? So make sure that you are using signal phrases. That's a great way to introduce a quote. And this gives you a lot of examples of signal phrases instead of saying, the author said, blah, blah, blah. That gets really repetitive, right? So if we want to have some more interesting signal phrases, we've got a whole list of them here. So please check that out. The wonderful library stuff that I was talking about for you here, our Prezi from librarian Molly Mooney is available for you here to help you figure out how to find research for this project. And then if you're still stuck, you're not sure how to find that research, you can live chat with a librarian. How amazing is that? And our librarians are amazing. Guys, seriously, they had to get a master's degree in library science. Yeah, they know their stuff. They're amazing. So what would take me, and I'm a professional, I teach English, I'm pretty good at researching, right? Because I've had to do it for a long time to get this job. What would take me several hours to find in the databases, the librarians can find in like 5 minutes. That's how efficient they are. So while it feels like it might be extra time to reach out to the librarians and get some help, it actually is going to save you so much time in the long run. So feel free to live chat with the librarians. They have an IM service. They also have email and phone if you'd rather communicate in that way. So use the links, get in touch with the librarians if you're having a hard time finding research. They are there to help, and they are marvelous, intelligent, talented people, so they will be able to help you out. I do also want to just call our attention once again as I'm grading through your Project 1 essays. We are having some issues with MLA format, so do make sure to check through the sample MLA paper. Use the Night-Cite Citation Generator for your Works Cited page, and then use the OWL Purdue in-text citations guide. This will really help you out as you move forward with Project 2. I am working on grading Project 1. I should have them all done by the end of the week. Hooray! So we're very excited about that. When you get your essays back, they will have embedded feedback in a couple different ways. You'll have a gradebook comment, which will have some overall things I've noticed about the essay, some things you're doing well, some things that you could continue to improve on. And then you'll also have the rubric filled out with notes in each of those categories so that you know why I scored it the way I did in that particular place. And then you're going to also have embedded feedback. And embedded feedback is going to be in the essay itself. So when you uploaded that document, it'll give you a document view. There will be little blue text bubble icons throughout your essay. Make sure to click on those little blue text bubbles. That's where I've given you line by line feedback, specific things you could work on in specific sections of the essay. So lots of good feedback for you. And as you're looking through your essay, I don't want you to look at the feedback as something negative. This feedback is my way of saying you're doing great work, but I want to take you to the next level. I want you to see how we can improve, how our writing can be made even better. And the only way I can do that is to give you this kind of really detailed feedback. So when you see the essay, when you see the feedback, don't be discouraged if there's lots of notes. Be excited if there's lots of notes, because that's a way that we're going to get better as writers, which isn't going to just help us in English 101, right? It's going to help us in all our courses at CBC that require any kind of writing, as well as outside of CBC in the real world. You know, if you have to write anything, employers find that writing skills are highly, highly valuable. I teach an English 235 class, which is technical and business kind of writing. And there's a lot of research that says being able to write clearly and effectively is an incredibly marketable skill. So invest in this, work to get better, look for all that feedback, and as always, reach out if you have any questions. I'm here to help. Have a great week, guys.